This is Piecewise Functions Day 1 with Mr. Taylor.
Piecewise function, we're going to start with rates and ratios. So to do that, we're going to set up proportions equal to each other, and then we're just going to cross multiply to solve them. So we start off, it says there's 12 eggs per carton. Then how many eggs do we have in 5 cartons? So to start off, we have 12 eggs over 1 carton. We want to know how many eggs, which we're not sure, so we're going to call that X eggs over 5 cartons. So we can solve that. It helps to have it labeled just so you can keep track. Make sure that you have both of the eggs on top and you have the cartons on the bottom. It's going to help you keep things organized. So when we go to cross multiply, we got 1 times X is an X. We got the 5 times 12 is 60. And if we look back, it says how many eggs do we have. So our label would be we have 60 eggs. So that would take care of the first problem. So we're going to set up the second one exactly the same way. It's traveling at 65 miles per hour. Then how far would it travel in 2 hours? So it's 65. And again, we're going to label that with the miles per 1 hour. We want to know how many miles, or X miles, it would travel in 2 hours. So again, set up the same idea. We're going to cross multiply those. So you have 1 times X and 2 times 65. So the 1 times X will give us X. 65 times 2 will give us 130. It wants to know how far does it travel, so it would be 130 miles. If you would, take a second, pause the video now, and answer C through F on your own. When you have them answered, turn the video back on, and we'll go over them briefly. So we'll take a look now at C. Hopefully things went well for you while you were doing them on your own. If not, we'll take a look. So it says we have 8 slices of pizza for 4 people eating. How many slices would each person get? So if it's 8 slices, you can label it S, or P for pizza if you'd like. For 4 people, we want to know how many slices, or X slices, would you get for 1 person. So setting up the same, we have X times 4, which would give us 4X. We have 1 times 8, which is going to give us 8. This is very similar to the other ones. There's just one more step. We have to get the X by itself, so now we'll divide both sides by 4. And you'll find out that X would equal 2, and again, how many slices? So it's going to be 2 slices. Biker travels 20 miles in 1 hour. How many minutes does it take per mile traveled? Alright, so it's 20 miles in 1 hour. We want to know how many minutes would it take per mile. So if we have 1 mile, how many minutes? Now here's the issue with that. Over here we have it labeled as hours, and over here we have it labeled as minutes. The easiest thing we can do, what is 1 hour in minutes? And I know you're yelling 60 right now. So we'll go ahead and change that. So it's 60 minutes. Now we're ready to go ahead and cross multiply. So 20 times X would be 20X. 1 times 60 would be 60. And again, just one more step to get that X by itself. We divide both by 20. And we'd end up with X equal to 3. And it'd be 3 minutes for 1 mile. Continue to move on. Car traveling the Taconic Parkway travels at 84 miles in 2 hours. What is its speed for 1 hour? So if it goes 84 miles in 1 hour, 2 hours, it would go how far in 1 hour? Again, just making sure that we're keeping our labels the same on the top and bottom. We would cross multiply again. 84 times 1 is 84. X times 2 is 2X. Finish getting the X by itself. We would just divide both sides by 2, and you end up with X equals 42, and it would be in miles per hour, so it would be MPH. And our last one on this one, again, we're just checking to hopefully you have these right. Salesperson earns $500 fee per car she sells. She sells 4 cars in 1 day. How much money would she earn? So she gets $500 per one car, we want to know how much money would she get if she sold 4 cars. So again, keeping the money on the top, cars on the bottom, we cross multiply. 1 times x would be x, and 4 times 500 is 2,000. So she would earn $2,000. So that ends that part. We're going to kind of take a minute and fill in some of the blanks on our worksheet. If you look, it says rates show up everywhere in the real world, whether it's your pay per hour, whether it's the amount of text you send per month, but rates are all about multiplication and division. So because of that, they're going to be known as what we call ratios, or a ratio of 2 quantities, both of which are changing and varying. So that's why we have the 2 ratios with the equal sign in the middle. So if you go ahead and fill that in, you should be all set with that. So looking, we're going to see how we can use these in a real world situation and take a second and fill out our chart. So if a runner is traveling at a constant rate of 8 meters per second, how long does it take for the runner to travel 100 meters? So that's the end result we're looking for. The experiment solving this problem by setting up a table. So if we look, after 1 second, they've traveled 8 meters. After 2 seconds, they've now traveled 16. Think about this for a second and figure out what it would be for 5 seconds and then for 10 seconds. If you said for 5 seconds it would be 40 and for 10 seconds you'd be 80, you're right on track. We're doing pretty well. Remember, they're going at 8 seconds or 8 meters per second, so it's going to be increasing by 8. It says to create an equation that gives the distance d that the person has to run if you know the amount of time t they've been running. So if we look back at our original one, we know they run 8 meters per second. If we look, that's the same thing as saying their distance over their time. You've just written that equation for me. We've used it using d for distance and t for time. If we take a second, we can set this up as an algebraic equation, and we can substitute in our values to solve this. So we have our equation here. It gives us the exact amount it would take for the runner to travel 100 meters. So if we take our equation we have up here, and instead of d for distance, we're going to plug in 100 there. So we have the 8 meters over 1 second equals 100 meters over t, or time in seconds. So when we go to multiply that, we get 8t equals 100. And then we would go ahead and divide that. And 100 divided by 8 equals 12.5. Alright. With that, you can kind of jump past the last one in your note packet, and I think you guys are all set to do day 1 homework. I hope this helps out, and we'll see you guys soon.
This is the day 1 homework that you can be working on with those notes.